Jet, you're like me, where you're like, be right back, I'm gonna get some tea, and then you're still here. Which also, be right back, I'm gonna get some tea. Also, no worries, Salem. Welcome, welcome. I'm now gonna go get some tea, and then we'll start. Hey, Big Jerry. I sure hope so. I mean, we have a lot to cover. I'll be getting started in 5. That feeling when you wake your cat up from a nap by accident and now they have too much energy? Hello, 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 everybody. Good morning, good evening. I hope you're all doing all right today. Rondo, I think the No New Wars president may have lied a tiny bit. Just a little smidge, maybe. Yeah, listen, we got a lot to talk about. I was going to cover a lot of this yesterday, but we always make the jokes. Oh, thank you for the subscription Walker Steele. I very much appreciate it. 14 months, goddamn. We make jokes regularly on this channel that I am often correct, but too early. So I had the thought of maybe I'll give it a day because there was a lot of stuff that I was seeing, a lot of discourse that seemed to be missing a lot of the bigger picture of what's happening here. And I mean, I'm glad I gave it the day because I have seen some of that dissipate since. But a lot of people are still missing lots of the big picture. Thank you, Walker. So just to start off with, before we really dive into the Iran war, this is never, like, there's nowhere on Earth where these people don't exist. Treatlers strike again. I successfully ordered food, but now there's another round of rockets. I hope it'll come. In the next few minutes, alerts are expected in your area. You need to find a better location that will provide you the best protection in your area. If an alert is received, enter a protected space and stay there until further notice. As in, I just ordered food, but there's like bombs falling from the sky. I sure hope my DoorDash driver will still make it here. Like, first off, if your food does arrive, you should be tipping this person like a year's worth of what they make minimum. But of course not, because why would they? If this is a treatler. I hope my fucking food gets here. I hope your food didn't get there. I hope your DoorDash driver ate your food and then went to a bomb shelter. That would be my preference, personally. Now, on that No Wars president we were talking about, Rundo. Well, seems like that specific No New Wars president said the timeline for this specific war could go on for up to the next 4 weeks. Quote, it's always been a 4-week process. We figured it will be 4 weeks or so. It's always been about 4-week process, so as strong as it is, it's a big country. It'll take 4 weeks or less, the president explained. Now, little bit of an issue here, because the Pentagon doesn't seem to agree. In fact, the Pentagon is kind of worried that this will last longer than they expected, and that would not be ideal from the Pentagon's point of view. For example, concern growing inside the Pentagon that the Iran conflict could spiral and drag on for weeks longer than the weeks that was put out as, like, the 4-week timeline. The mood is intense and paranoid, one source said. Officials worry prolonged fighting will further drain already limited U.S. air defense stockpiles, which is a big problem we're going to talk about today, as well as, like, interceptors, not just for the U.S., but for Israel, for Qatar, for the UAE, for all the Gulf states. It's not like we can say, like, quote from Representative Adam Smith, not like we can say, we're out of missile defense, so now we're going to pause. So, I'm glad we have Pete Hegseth in charge. He's increased the amount of military rape in the amount of rape in the military enough to offset the woke logistics. Well, we're not doing logistics anymore. Yeah, basically. What's up, Infothumb Wars? Oxpecker, just don't call it a war. People are gonna react with that meme of Drake going like, nah, but in the next pick, like, well, so it is a war. It's just not like. I mean, like, I don't know what you mean. It is a war. They're fighting back. We're fighting them. It is imperialism. Now, Big Jerry, Operation Epstein Fury, the Epstein War. I have a different view. Now, no doubt, by the way, that this entire war is orchestrated by the Epstein class. In fact, I have citations on that. I can prove that. I will point that out. However, I view this a little differently. I don't think that this is the Epstein War. From my perspective, this is the first corporate war. This was a war that was started by Oracle, primarily, really, and has now brought in other corporations, like Amazon, having their web servers bombed, flawed, also being involved here. Like, it's the first corpo war. And also, Rubio pretty much said we did it because Israel told us to. Also, Saudi Arabia. Yeah, the funniest thing that I found was, Saudi and some Gulf states reached out to Iran and were like, can you give us, like, a place in the desert that we can bomb and then say that we retaliated? And Iran just, like, read, not replied. So, by the way, this is how much this is costing you as a taxpayer. This is a live counter. Iran cost ticker. At the moment, we're about $1.9 billion into this. It costs about $4,398 per second, $15,833,330 on average per hour, and on average per day, $380 million. So, yeah. I believe we're up to 6 dead now and 3 F-15 fighter bombers. Well, first off, yes, we are up to 6 dead. That has been confirmed. We have lost 3 F-15s. That has also been confirmed. The loss of the F-15s is being blamed on, I believe, Kuwaiti friendly fire. I firmly believe that we've lost more people than we're saying. And I'm not sure I buy the friendly fire story there. There's also a lot of unclear things. Like yesterday, there were claims that Iran bombed the Saudi Aramco oil field. And then Iran said, that wasn't us. And then Saudi said, yeah, we don't think it was Iran either. I think maybe it was an Interceptor missile that collided and then the shrapnel fell on it maybe. It could be more than that. We don't know. Iran has S-300s. They have S-400s too. Although I don't know how many left. Now, so far, we've killed a bunch of the leadership. We killed the Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, who was still in his house and in his office. So obviously, dude was not going anywhere. He didn't hide, and we can tell why, because reportedly he was suffering from prostate cancer and was expected to die within the next year anyway. So, real quick question. If the goal here was regime change, as we said it was, we've killed the regime. Why are we going to continue bombing for 4 weeks? If the goal was regime change, why are we doing that? Why aren't we not bringing Reza, the son of the former Shah, on every news network right now? Why is he not on the first flight to Iran right now? Because that's not the point. The point is not supreme change in the region of leadership in Iran, make them democratic, make them an ally to Israel and America. No, that's not the point. None of that's the point. It has nothing to do with that shit. If we wanted that, we could have done that. By the way, this is just how much stuff we have in the region, just as America. This is not counting anybody but America. We are the bad guys? Yeah, we are the bad guys. I believe the friendly fire communication with allies is, well, we don't do that anymore. To be fair, I can see that. I just also do see a lot of incentive to lie when it comes to losses that might be taken in the field, Rondo, in this case. Whoa, guys, 4 more and we'll be at a whole double digit. Damn, it got so rough. I mean, kinda. So, also, just so you know, we're already talking about the next wars. Lindsey Graham is saying that we're going to do Cuba next. I have seen multiple US politicians talk about Turkey, a NATO ally, and I've seen multiple Israeli officials talking about Turkey being like the largest destabilizing force in the region and all of that. And it's just not like they're not even done with Iran and they want to move to Turkey, and Turkey is a bigger fight than Iran. There's a reason Iran isn't attacking Turkey right now, even though Turkey hosts Air Force bases for the US, like Incirlik. We have AWACS taking off from there. You know why? Because Turkey is the second largest military in NATO, largest if you don't count the US, who's basically left, who has been in constant conflict in like the last 2 decades at the bare minimum. And so, like, effective, trained, experienced soldiers with a real military-industrial complex of their own. Not an easy target. Uh-oh, she's back. I feel like she comes back only when shit's really hitting the fan, which is, to be fair, every, like, 4 to 7 days. Kinda these days, Hybrid Heathen. I am going to be making a little bit of a change to, like, my schedule coming soon, but mostly it's going to be towards, like, being able to create more content. You guys, especially the people on this space who watch me there, said you would like guide videos on how to create the Matrix server, how to create a local server, how to run a VPS, how to run a local AI. So I'm going to be working on all of that and to get those out to you guys and create like a... You better not be attacking my picture. Yeah, I know, I'm talking to you. Be able to create like a guide video that we can go over live. The United States has nukes in Turkey? Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. Like, it's insane that we're talking about Turkey like this, but we are. So, by the way, in reference to the 3 US F-15s that crashed in Kuwait, both the pilots and the weapon systems officers reportedly survived. This is what that looked like.
لا والله حربية. شوف شوف. لا والله حربية، طيارة حربية. طيارة حربية. شوف 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 شوف. شوف 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 شوف.
I shouldn't show this. I'm going to anyway, just because I found it funny. So, this is how Israeli media covered the downing of the US jets. Hold on. Why are you playing audio? Be quiet. I didn't ask you to play audio. Okay, this is how they covered it. We need to emphasize, friends, we need to emphasize. Incident in Kuwait involving American forces. And not, heaven forbid, an incident involving Israeli forces. You would think that, like, you know, allies would be equally as mad, but, like, I don't know. It just, it made me laugh because it shows that they just don't give a shit about Americans at all. And, like, we know that, but a lot of people don't. I hear all the soldiers from that F-15 survived, which is kind of wild. They rejected early. You want to know what's even more wild, guys? One of them was a woman. You know, one of them woke women that Hegseth thinks shouldn't be in the military. Check out this this F-15 pilot after ejecting and landing in Kuwait after getting shot down.
You're fine? Really?
She's having a great time.
You need something to help you? No problem, you're safe. You're safe, you're safe. Everything good? No problem. Thank you for helping us. Everything...
Just flash a nice smile at the locals, you know? That's pretty great, like, actually. First off, it's a pretty terrifying situation to get shot out of a plane. Especially, you know, parachuting down while other things are flying around you. To land perfectly fine and then flash a smile at like the locals. Yeah, no, queen behavior, absolutely. But no, women can't be warriors. Oh, speaking of, Hegseth. I wasn't really going to talk about this one today because I don't actually really think that it means anything. But we did have Heat tell service members that their oaths have effectively changed. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth told service members that their oaths had effectively changed, that it's no longer about defending the United States, but about being warriors whose mission it is to attack. I don't care if that's real, I don't know if that means anything, it doesn't matter to me. I bet she didn't even raise her voice calling in the hit and ejection. Probably not, no. Men are more emotional than women, especially in like a crisis scenario. Hell, look at this. This
That's my fucking truck.
you can't hear him, but that's an American dude saying, "Hey, that's my fucking truck." Like even he's yelling. But also, you can't park there, mate. Sorry. That's a no parking zone, clearly. That's my fucking truck, American soldier at the base in
Export
Kuwait.
route connecting the biggest Gulf oil producers such as
Where's
Saudi Arabia, Iran.
That video just keeps playing random. I don't know. So here's another American soldier. This was right when it started, and this was the reaction of a U.S. soldier in Bahrain overlooking the base there that got hit. I'll show you what that base looks like now, by the way, but let's get the initial response and reaction from this U.S. soldier. Now, they had partially evacuated these bases, but I believe this one specifically, the one in Bahrain, and this was, I think, the U.S. 5th Fleet headquarters, if I'm not mistaken. This one still had people in it.
Bro. Oh shit! Oh fuck! Oh shit! Oh! Oh shit! Oh fuck! Oh my god!
Neat, I've been to that
Dude,
base.
fuck.
Oh, you'll be very curious to know what it looks like now. I have no idea if we're really asking Ukrainians how to shoot these down, but apparently they've offered to send specialists. I haven't heard. We probably are, but also, I mean, like, we're not really helping them. And at the moment, we've now deployed Lucas, which is our knockoff of the Shahed, and we're using it in this as well. And, I mean, like, from my experience, Ukraine's best weapon against drones is other drones. So, you know, what's your opinion on the war? I'm kind of giving it. I'm calling it the first corporate war, but we haven't gotten to why yet. Right now, we're still looking at, like, you know, just the beginning. Like, I have a lot here.
Me, a fucking missile actually got through. Oh, there's more. I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Probably should, yeah. So, that base looks like this now. That was, last night. So, you know, it's kind of entirely on fire. In the last hour, I believe they also just hit the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh. We've seen clashes at the U.S. Embassy in Iraq. I'll show you some of that. We've seen clashes at a U.S. consulate in Pakistan. In fact, I have on video U.S. soldiers shooting Pakistani civilians, and we'll see that. But first, like, understand some of the fallout from this. First and foremost, the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Iran has said any ship that goes through, they will sink. And they've also already sank several ships. The IRGC sank 3 tankers in the Strait of Hormuz. This was yesterday. And those attacks have been confirmed. Since then, sorry, not since then, this was about the same time, we had the UK Maritime Trade Operation, like, list these events. We had a literal oil tanker start to burn. And just so you understand, everything's about to get very expensive, not just because 70% of the world's oil flows through the Strait of Hormuz, but because right now, no ship can acquire insurance to sail. So I need you to understand what that means. So the Houthis are also doing the same thing they were doing before in the Red Sea, in the Gulf of Aden. Strait of Hormuz and the Gulf of Aden and the Red Sea are now closed to shipping lanes. So if a ship from like Mumbai wants to go to England, it now has to go all the way around Africa, adding like 27 days to their trip. They now can't get insurance, which means they're not likely to make that trip. And it also means even if they do, that's 27 extra days of fuel costs, of paying wages, and that's going to mean everything on that ship is much more expensive. Do you believe that this could be the beginning of World War III? We've been in World War III for about a year now, Salem. Because a bunch of the old Bible thumpers are believing it's going to be the rapture. No. The Bible thumpers want to start the rapture. In fact, that's kind of like every evangelical Christian and Israeli. But I mean, like here, look at this. They're literally openly talking about false flagging World War III to try and cast their little magic spell to summon Jesus. Mind you, keep in mind while we're watching this, it's just really insane to me to see people so committed to casting a magic spell to end the world and summon Jesus in a time period in which we also have robot dogs with flamethrowers and increasingly flying cars. Like we have both of these things happening at the same time. They're saying this generation is going to meet Jesus. We just need to get right with God. They say that every generation. And by the way, when they say that, Salem, they mean this. Because it all comes back down to this death cult shit.
We don't know. Maybe one of the missiles...
Oh yeah, I forgot. He's not even saying this part in Hebrew. Usually they save the bad things for in Hebrew and say, optically positive things in English.
We don't know. Maybe one of the missiles will hit the mosque and clear the place for the third Bet HaMikdash. That could also be a miracle. If it was up to me, the last time when they shot hundreds of missiles, I would pretend that one missile came from Iran and shoot it down. You know?
He's talking about Al-Aqsa Mosque, where they want to build the temple and do the blood sacrifice and stuff. Christianity is a cult. Modern day Christianity is. Jesus' whole belief system that he believed was ironically, you should stop eating babies, doing blood sacrifices, and hoarding wealth. That was kind of Jesus' whole thing. So his whole fight was with what we would now call the Epstein Party and their ideologies. Trump's party is a cult, so that much is true, but he's not the cult. Like, his party's not even the issue. Don't make me get too much into that, because I will get distracted with that today. But, like, Trump isn't important, and Trump is the sacrificial lamb. Right now, we have America's most prolific Nazis. Not just like last week telling their people not to vote next election so that the Dems win and get Trump and Vance out and put them in prison. He's now started to say you should vote Dem because they want that. And I've explained this before. But we'll talk about that another time. Jesus was a socialist. Jesus was the closest that we got to like an actual communist.
Then all the Arabs will go against Iran and it will be the end of the problems. You make them fight with each other, this bunch of lunatics. Never too late. You deal with a bunch of cowards.
Like, just openly talking about starting a religious holy war to cast a magic spell to end the planet. But what's important here is how expensive everything's about to be for you. For example, just today, crude oil went up 10%. You're not going to see this translate down to the pumps for a couple of days. But again, no trade ship can acquire insurance right now. It's not just ships that have to sail in that region. As far as I'm aware, it's in general, which means there's no logistics happen. There's no international shipping realistically happening. It's slowing down as we go because it costs a lot of money to have a giant tanker ship. And so you insure it in case, I don't know, you get attacked by pirates or a missile, and so that you don't go bankrupt. If they can't get insurance, they're not going to sail. And if they can't sail, you're going to see empty store shelves.
We've just got some breaking news that's just come into us from the Reuters news agency. They say Iran's Revolutionary Guard said a fuel tanker was burning in the Strait of Hormuz after being hit by 2 drones.
See, this is calling it reckless. They're saying, you know, Iran's strategy is reckless. It's not reckless. This is Iran's only win condition. Iran's win condition is make things expensive for Westerners. Make things hurt for the American people, for the European people. Make the people who are already poor and starving angry at the fact that everything is getting more expensive because of this. Because we're fighting a war for no fucking reason. Because clearly it's not a regime change war. We already took out the regime. We're not trying to install a new one. We're talking about how, you know, we want the Iranian people to rise up and have a revolution. The Pentagon doesn't think that's likely. The Pentagon never thought that was likely. I'll show this again later when it relates to a different point I want to make, but the CIA produced a series of scenarios that might play out if Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the country's supreme leader, were killed in an offensive. They laid out multiple possible outcomes. Poppy, stop doing that. As the numbers of variables made it difficult for the agency to assess with confidence what might happen, one envisioned a hardline cleric replacing Ayatollah Khamenei, perhaps even a leader more bent on acquiring nuclear weapons. Another possible scenario predicted an uprising against the revolution, a possibility many intelligence officials thought was remote given the weakness of Iran's opposition. So, like, yeah, like, we never even thought that that was likely to happen to begin with. The US intelligence treated the uprising as a remote scenario. That was the main way that they went about manufacturing consent, because they don't want to talk about the real sides of this. How is your first chat a subbed mode? That's incredible. What? Oh, yeah, actually. That is weird. I don't know how that works. Cool. I didn't even notice that. Nice catch, Hybrid Ethan. But yeah, so not only are we talking about regular tankers, we're talking about everything.
In der Straße von Hormuz ist ein Öltanker angegriffen worden. Das maritime Sicherheitszentrum des
Iraq and the United Arab
Stop making noise. Do you believe them killing the leader that they did was okay? I mean, it was illegal, but like,
so that
what are we,
just
liberals?
coming in that
Law doesn't exist anymore. Was it okay? No. Don't skip, just understand German. I do, y'all don't. Was it okay? No, because it's not gonna result in a good outcome. See, everything for me is outcomes based. It's not like the justification. I don't care about the justification. Justification could be bad. If the outcome is good, then I'm happy. But the outcome is never going to be good here, because the goal is to create a power vacuum in Iran. That's the end goal, is we want a power vacuum to be filled with extremists so that we could use that as justification for further forever wars. We had a US ambassador talking about, like, openly supporting Greater Israel. That pissed off multiple allies that are currently getting bombed in this war, just like a week ago. And Turkey is being put forward as a potential next target. Meanwhile, Turkey also benefits from the power vacuum in Iran, because Turkey loves killing Kurds in Iraq and Syria, and they will continue to use that excuse. They were doing that before, and they're continuing now. What's up, Capus? Thank you for the sub. Okay, sorry, I feel like I'm asking dumbass questions. No, you're not asking dumb questions. There's no dumb questions. It's more so, please keep asking questions. I just am much further along here. That's kind of why I waited until today to have the stream, because I wanted everyone to, like, marinate in what was happening a little bit so that I could go zoom out and y'all wouldn't get lost in the sauce. But like, just look at this. Traffic of vessels in the Strait of Hormuz has reduced by 70%, and this was before Iran officially put forward that they have blocked the strait. Now, Iran might not be able to actually block the strait, like physically. They may not be able to blockade it, but that doesn't necessarily matter. They've achieved that blockade without a single ship. They just had to fire on a couple ships, and no one wants to make the journey. Our rationale for the entire thing appears to be Israel asked us to, a lot of Iranians to, and so here we are. Yeah, well, so we're lying. You want to know the real reasons? Like, the reasons why I'm calling this the first corporate war? Oh, by the way, this is the fossil fuel stocks right now, just since that started. So just the increase in cost for fuel alone is going to translate everywhere else. But you want to see why? I'll show you why. Give me a second. Let me open a couple of links. So, first and foremost, you can follow the money and the Epstein class, and you will rarely lead anywhere that isn't related when it comes to this. But first off, let's look at a little bit of a timeline. So, somewhat before, not long before, I believe in the last like month or two, we see Mohammed bin Salman, Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia and the UAE, push Trump to attack Iran, while both have massive financial ties to Trump, Kushner, Witkoff. For example, a lot of the Trump family does their banking in Qatar. U.S. intelligence said Iran posed no imminent threat to us, yet the war started after like talks led by Kushner and Witkoff, talks that were obviously a ruse, because we do this all the time with this administration. We pretend to have peace talks and then we hit them. And then the Saudi investment fund invested $2 billion in Kushner's affinity partners, paying him about $25 million in yearly fees, which will over time generate about $137 million for him personally. The UAE then invested $200 million in the same fund. Then the UAE's national security chief Tahnoun bought 49% of Trump's crypto firm World Liberty Financial, and from a $250 million payment, about $187 million went into Trump's family entities and $31 million to the Witkoff family. Then a further $2 billion in crypto was purchased. Shortly before the war, a $7 billion Saudi real estate project with Trump-branded hotels, golf courses, and 500 luxury villas was announced, from which Trump personally profits. All of these people are the Epstein class. We're talking about everyone that, like, these are all people in the files. So, like, it's to make money. Partially. This is one part of this. Then we have the corporate wars aspect. So the U.S. military used Claude to plan the attack on Iran in the days after it went to war with the company. Iran is retaliating against Claude, or rather Amazon's cloud infrastructure more generally, by bombing that. Now again, Iran's chief export is oil. And by cutting off Iran's ability to export oil, that is us in proxy attacking China. But all of this really does come down to the tech players. 2 Amazon data centers in the UAE and 1 in Bahrain have already been disabled by missiles. Claude is currently offline for consumers, including in Europe. Amazon is telling its customers to stop expecting its Middle East IT infrastructure to work and fail over to other regions. This can easily have knock-on effects for other websites. When AWS data center went down in Virginia in October, the affected sites included Zoom, Discord, Twitch, Venmo, Duolingo, Delta Airlines, and several major UK banks. So, like, there's that part of this as well. But we take it even further. With Oracle. Hold on. Got that down. And Thank you to the Dre dossier, a better journalist than I, for compiling this, because this is also directly related. Remember, Larry Ellison is the worst person on the planet and the one who's basically in charge of all this shit. He's the one person that scares me more than Peter.
At the time I'm recording this video, Israel has just struck Iran and the United States is almost certainly right behind them. I need you to focus, okay? Because today, the same day that those missiles hit, Oracle has quietly announced that the US government has just authorized it to run generative AI on federal government data. Your data and my data. The contract is titled FedRAMP High with
As in Skynet is live.
the DISA impact level of 5. That means that Oracle can now run artificial intelligence, meaning pattern recognition, automated analysis, and decision-making tools on the Department of Defense mission data, on classified intelligence systems,
It's not a
and
distraction.
on your Medicare record. And that announcement went up on Oracle's blog the same day that every newsroom in America was pointed at Tehran. Now, I don't want to tell you what to think about all of that, but I will tell you this. The last time we went to war with the Middle East, Larry Ellison used all of the chaos to lock down the UK's entire government data infrastructure, because the British are still fighting these surveillance apparatuses and digital IDs that came out of it to this day. And he's doing it again. Except this time he's after us. Before you write this off as Israel's idea and is dragging the US into it, remember who funds Netanyahu's entire military. Larry Ellison does. Remember who controls Israel's entire war data infrastructure. Larry Ellison. And Larry Ellison is in the middle of closing a lot of deals right now.
Remember, who built the Chinese surveillance apparatus? Larry Ellison. Without Larry Ellison, Great Firewall of China doesn't exist. Who is the reason Palantir exists? Larry Ellison. Who is the architect of US surveillance? Larry Ellison. He offered basically the same thing that he built for the Chinese to America after 9/11. It's always Larry Ellison. Larry Ellison really is the power behind the power. Yeah.
Now, and Congress is about to be too busy with a war to stop any of this. So we have to stay focused. Because I don't know about you, but I'm not about to live in some Orwellian surveillance future without putting up a fight first. And while everybody's making the media monopoly case about this, which is a case I've made myself, I think the more consequential angle here is the data acquisition angle. And we need to get very real very quickly about what it means to have Oracle sitting beneath American media, American healthcare, American defense infrastructure all simultaneously, and what Larry Ellison has already shown you what he wants to do with that kind of position. And because I'm getting tired of just talking about a lot of problems without a lot of solutions, I've written a full report on this, a policy brief with
highly
over
suggest
45
reading it, by the way, but I'm going to skip ahead from this section. Please go read that report. It is
Oracle's not a
fantastic. But why Oracle is so invested in this, it's not just because of Larry Ellison's personal ties to the IDF. It's about data.
That many people think about in their day-to-day lives. You know, it doesn't make something that you as an individual can buy. Oracle is an enterprise cloud company, and it builds and operates the underlying systems that institutions run on. It's what this freaking war is running on. So that's anything from databases to cloud storage to software infrastructure. So if you've ever logged into a corporate HR system at some large organization and ever wondered who built this thing, which I don't know why any sane person would have that thought.
Or really anywhere, like Oracle is in everything. There's basically no industry Oracle's not the foundation of, and there is an insider saying for people who work at Oracle that they don't have customers, they have slaves.
But there's a reasonable chance that Oracle built it. That's the point I'm trying to make. Also, a little detail that matters is...
Or, sorry, not slaves, hostages.
...that Oracle's first customer was the CIA. And I go into all of that in depth in another video, which I recommend you checking out. But the TLDR is that the company literally got its name from the CIA database project from 1977. Just to give you an idea of where we're starting here. And what Larry Ellison has done when he's been in that position, when he has the chance with all of that power, is the reason...
By the way, the CIA project was called Project Oracle Bones. You can go Google that if you want to.
That this new merger with Paramount Pictures and Warner Brothers Discovery should scare you. Because between 2014 and 2024, Oracle had quietly assembled one of the most powerful data collection operations in the entire world. And this was all done through a very clever series of acquisitions that most people have never heard of, and each one did something very specific. So first, he bought Blue Kai, and Blue Kai embedded invisible tracking pixels on websites, and one by one, a pixel with a transparent image that you could not see would appear on your screen when you entered certain websites. websites. So when you loaded one of those pages and one of those pixels had popped up, your browser would ping Blue Sky's servers and it would transmit your IP address, your device information, your browser type, all of that, and set it with a tracking cookie that you could not delete. And Blue Sky was on websites like Amazon, ESPN, Forbes, the New York Times, MSN, and it was estimated to be tracking over 1% of all web traffic in the world. Then Oracle bought Datalogix. Datalogix connected what Blue Sky was collecting about your online behavior with what you did offline. So your in-store purchases, your loyalty cards, any of your...
It's building an outline of every human being and every human being's behavior patterns. This is why we're going to get that short little return to liberalism. It's because y'all got too loud, y'all got too excited, and too revolutionary. So they're going to let it stop for a little bit. At least, you know, the in-your-face parts, none of it's going to stop behind the scenes. And then we're going to come back to this later. This is why people like Nick Fuentes are telling their base to vote Democrat in the midterm. Just assign me a camera already. They know, they want to know everything we do. It's annoying. Well, the thing is, the fact that they want to know everything that you're doing means you can fuck with them. Data that is old is useless. Data that's older than 6 months is garbage. So poison the data set. Provide false information to the trackers. Do things that don't make sense. Give your phone to, like, your friend and have them go drive around in circles somewhere else so that it, like, ties into something else, and then have them pass it on. Like, go give your phone to a friend to play telephone with everyone they know until it comes back around to you in, like, 3 days, and your phone's now been in, like, all over you don't know any of these people. Like, strap a phone to a dolphin. I mean, you can do that, or you can just not have a smartphone. And you could join my Matrix server. Again, by the way, you can join my Discord, and we're working on growing the Matrix server. The Matrix server exists at the moment. I own the domain. I run it myself. It is local. It is private. We can talk on there. I'm the one that gets subpoenaed if they want chat records, and I have zero obligation to keep them. However, we do need bigger server space for it to be able to contain the whole community and for us to be able to use it like Discord. So, please do not forget, if you can, to donate. And you can do so using this link so that YouTube or Twitch don't take part of the cut. But at the moment on Twitch, I am running a sub drive, so you will get 30% off if you gift 5 subs. So think about it. Beyond that, let's continue going. By the way, like, this is why I've built the Matrix server. It's so that this isn't a problem for us. So they can't watch us. Because it's my server. You can do this yourself too. I'm going to be creating videos teaching you how to do this. You can host it on a virtual private server in another country, like I do, or you can host it on another computer in your house and have it be part of your local network. You can run VPNs native into it. You can do a lot with it. It's pretty cool. We'll talk about it more next stream.
Your credit card transactions, all of that. So now Oracle was starting to build this chain where it knew not just what websites you visited, but it knew what you bought afterward, where you went afterward, who you saw afterward. And then Oracle acquired the company AddThis. You've probably seen AddThis without even knowing it. It's those little share this on Facebook, tweet this buttons that are basically on every website.
This all sounds unrelated, doesn't it, to, like, the greater war in Iran? But this is a key part of it. We live in a weird timeline where stupid things like this, things that you wouldn't think of, you know, a share button on a website is directly linked to the reasoning why we're bombing a foreign country right now. Illegally, might I add, because, you know, no one actually declared war.
Everywhere. And AddThis was on over 15 million websites, reaching 1.9 billion unique users a month. And even if you never clicked on a single button, you never tweeted anything, you never shared this to Facebook, AddThis was still collecting your data just from you loading the page. And we know this because in 2014, ProPublica exposed AddThis for using something called canvas fingerprinting. So basically, whenever you pulled up one of those websites that had one of those little buttons, your browser would be instructed to draw a hidden image completely invisible to you. And because every computer would render that image slightly differently just based off of your hardware, your graphics card, and even your fonts, it created created a unique fingerprint for your specific device. And ProPublica even said that it was virtually impossible to block. And it was found on everything from the White House website to adult pleasuring websites in the same sweep. And what Oracle did was merge all three into the Oracle Data Cloud. And that combined system built what the industry calls an identity graph, which is a profile that connects a real person to their behavior across every device, every website, every purchase. And the federal lawsuit that eventually brought all of this to light called them the Oracle Digital Dossiers. And Larry Ellison even stood up at Oracle's own investors conference in 2016 and told the entire room that Oracle's data business had information on over 5 billion consumers worldwide.
So take that and add it to the fact that recently Larry Ellison went out and said basically every AI company's models are trash, not because they suck, but because they're built on bad data. And to get good data, we need to integrate government systems, like, Medicare data, like the NHS he specifically named in the UK. Puppy, come here. Maybe you'll be... Yeah. Oh, come on. So, partially things like NHS, state cloud data, things that they know about you, your paychecks, whatnot. But he also very, very specifically said that the Middle East is filled with good data, with important data that is useful and that we want it. Kitty break? Kitty break. Hi, puppy. Mwah. She's such a good girl. I have never had a cat where I'll just be like laying in bed. And you know when you have like a pillow and you have like one arm under the pillow and you have your other arm next to you? She comes and she lays in between the gap of my arm. And it's pretty adorable. I'm going to keep calling her puppy in my head. I think it's funny. So, feel free to keep doing that. So, let's have a look at what some of these strikes have looked like so far. I'm still at like everything pre-today, by the way. We still have not gotten to what has happened today. We'll get there. We're almost there. So, yesterday, we saw places like, Dubai International Airport getting struck. And, obviously I don't support harm on any civilians, but I cannot envision a more deserving airport. Fuck Dubai. She looks like my cat. She's also insufferably gray. Well, technically blue. But funny enough that you mentioned that. Little side tangent. So this right here is a photo that I've had on my wall before I got Poppy. And it looks exactly like Poppy. Reading marks. It's very funny. It looks exactly like her. And this was on my wall before I ever had her. Alright, Mama's gotta work. Mine is also blue. Hells yeah. Marx's cat, meant to be. Honestly, kinda was meant to be. Aw, cute cat. Hold on, let me open the image in a new tab so I don't, dox your Twitter. Such a cute kitty. Alright, continuing on. The reason that the Gulf states are being hit is again because a lot of the tech industry is focused on working with them, and also so are the people in charge. But I am still laughing at Dubai. Fuck Dubai. Botnik soup. You're laughing? Crypto grifters and beauty lifestyle influencers are being hit with shahheads in Dubai, and you're laughing. I can't control my human response, right? Cat has good taste in literature. I wouldn't know. I only read volume 1. The only book that I think any of you need to read is The Shock Doctrine, if you haven't already. This is the main part of fascism that more people need to understand: the consolidation of power into corporations. Too many people can't think beyond the swastikas and Sieg Heils and are just completely oblivious. Well, absolutely. But this is even further than that. Like, this is more feudalist than it is fascist. What's up, Shufu Poofer? Because, like, under thank you for the sub, by the way. Under fascism, Ghost Pepper, the states consolidate power and work with, the corporations consolidate power and work with the state, but they are still beneath the state. In this case, the corporations have consolidated power, but they are above the state. As in, all of the corporations that we're talking about here, you know, tech companies, their AI software is integrated into decision-making. Therefore, like, the government data goes to the corporations so the corporations can help the government decide what to do. And in this case, it's beyond that now. We're back at the feudalist layer. As for the add this button, ad blockers and canvas spoofers are actually self-defense. Absolutely. Yeah, the state and corporations are getting blended. Well, I've said that there is like a funny split happening around the world in Australia, Canada, places in Europe that is not happening in the United States after the release of the Epstein files. And that was a split between people in power who prioritize capital versus people in power who prioritize the state. And that's not an issue that exists in America because they're the same people. They all prioritize capital. In Australia, in a lot of Europe, and in Canada, there is outrage among the state supporting members of their governing bodies at not just like the horrific, shocking revelations of their, co-workers, but of how deeply money and moneyed interest and corpos have taken over their country. They still prioritize state power in these places. And that's not happening in America. But beyond that, let's continue looking at some of these strikes. This was the U.S. 5th Fleet headquarters. So we're still at yesterday. We still haven't gotten to today. Let alone anything that's happened since stream started. The last thing that I caught was the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh getting hit. Here is the Burj Al Arab, an iconic luxury 5-star hotel in Dubai. Now, on this video, I actually have an insane video to show you. So, I believe this is the same hotel, but it might be a different hotel, but regardless, I cannot imagine being on a hotel balcony. That's a Shahed. You're gonna see it get closer. Seeing this coming in my direction and just standing there recording, I would have dropped my phone and gone and hid. Like, I know a lot of people freeze, sure, but like, that's very clearly right above you. Yeah, not great. Fucking insane cameraman? Yeah, no, Jesus Christ. Like, I would not have stood there. Looks like Iran is going after the money. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, they are going after the money. And that's a smart call. It's their only win condition. They didn't realize they were getting blasted? Well, like, they kind of should have. One of those, what the fuck are you still doing there moments? Yeah, basically. And also, it's not just, like, American bases. Like, here is an Iranian ballistic missile striking Camp de la Pac, a base operated by the French in Abu Dhabi. Which is why France and Germany are still kind of considering, like, I don't know what's going on there. They're all pretending to not be on board with helping, but then also mixed messaging saying that they are helping. Spain is the only one who's just been outright open, like, no, get the fuck out of my country. I'm not going to let you host shit here. Here's Spain's PM Pedro Sanchez. First off, quote, remember that one can be against a hateful regime, as is the case with the Iranian regime, and at the same time be against an unjust and dangerous military intervention outside of international law. God, I fucking love Spain.
Hoy, más que nunca, es imprescindible recordar que se puede estar contra un régimen odioso, como está el conjunto de la sociedad española, como es el régimen iraní, y estar a la vez en contra de una intervención militar injustificada, peligrosa y fuera de la legalidad internacional. Que se debe estar contra una guerra iniciada sin autorización del Congreso de Estados Unidos, del Consejo de Seguridad de Naciones Unidas y, como he dicho antes, que vulnera el derecho internacional. Y que siempre hay espacio para una solución negociada, en lugar de dejarse arrastrar por la devastación de las armas como única salida posible.
The subtitles in English are making me feel like minorities feel not in English. Yeah, I figured that's what you meant by that. Bro, Albo and Penny Wong being first in line to show support for the US and Israel strikes makes me so mad. It's not like they have a spine, they're cucked. Like, that's kind of their job, cat piss. They're entirely cucked. That's why, by the way, the Green Party has gone up in fucking polls so high all of a sudden. Hell, the UK had a nice little upset where the Green Party won. So occupation cuckold. That kinda is what they did to Australia, yeah. Absolutely. Here was some strikes in Tehran. This was where they hit the Red Crescent building and the, I believe, Iranian state media building. Yesterday. They hit that building again today. Ayatollah, you're saying Khamenei? Like, Khamenei is the one that died. Khamenei is the one that came before him. But, yeah, was the reason Iran largely considered nuclear weapons to be a crime against God? Will his successor continue this legacy or learn from the leader's death and rescind that? We don't know. Well, so this is kind of what the Pentagon was saying, the CIA was saying in that bit that I read out. But the two things that they put forward as more likely than a natural, revolution from the Iranian people coming up was a hardline cleric, or someone far more interested in, nuclear weapons than Khamenei. But like I said, the point of this is to just create chaos. If we wanted to create a new regime that would be, happy to be friends with America and Israel, the fucking former Shah's son has had his hand up, pick me, pick me, pick me, for about 8 months now. So, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. It's not about that. We want a power vacuum. Because the power vacuum in Iran leads to more war. More justification for war. What's up, Kolinova? Yo, Visora, here we are, arrived at the threshold of an existential worldwide nightmare. I mean, to be fair, we crossed that threshold a long time ago. This has not been a nightmare for me. This is, it's kind of just a regular day for me. The US getting hit is way more likely now than in years. Oh, not to mention the fact that we're nearly, out of interceptors. And, let alone, the ability for them to cyber attack us. Oh my god, thank you, Glitchmaster, for the $20. I really appreciate it. Oh my god. See, by the way, guys, all of that money is going to go right back to you. That money is going to help and build the Matrix server so that we can all use it as a replacement for Discord, so that it has much, much, much bigger storage capacity, so that it works better, so that we can even host stream on there. By the way, guys, I've been banned off Twitch twice already. Third time, probably not coming back. If YouTube bans me, we have PeerTube. Matrix lets me stream directly to PeerTube and host it on Matrix. Get on that shit. Here's the Red Crescent building getting targeted. We've bombed 9 hospitals in Tehran since this started so far. I believe, at least, minimum 9. Invest in our comrades, Visora. She does important work free of charge. I mean, thank you. And I invest the money that you invest in me back at you. I need those AI videos of Charlie Kirk to get remixed about Khamenei. We carry the flame. I'm sure somebody will. I'm sure somebody will. Here is... Let's see. No, this one's... Oh, yeah, there we go. So, this is the U.S. base in Erbil, Iraq, yesterday. That's not how our military bases generally look. Now, it was evacuated, but not entirely. A lot of these still had active personnel in them. The death count of 6 that they have given us is surely not the full number. Here is a better video of the actual strike into the Erbil base. Completely obliterated? Yeah, just like Iran's nuclear program. Speaking of bug out, guys, you might want to prepare yourselves like with some basic goods. The electricity might go out in America. If there's one country at the moment, I mean, there's a few countries, really. There's Russia, there's North Korea, there's China, and there's Iran that are all good at cyber warfare, that have a history of cyber attacks against the US. But right now, I could see Iran trying to do a cyber attack against like energy infrastructure in the US. And if that happens, then some of you might lose power for weeks, depending on where it is. So I would advise you to try and be mindful of that. Here's a direct hit on another US base. Well, same base, but yeah, direct hit, like 1-to-1. Bug out bag or bunker bag, it's the same thing. The bag is the same. Whether you bug out or you bunker down is largely up to you. Now, beyond that, on the ground, we have Joe Snell, who is a former Washington Post reporter, based in Iraq. He does decent work when it's based in Iraq. This is videos that he filmed on the ground near the Erbil base that we just watched get eviscerated. Not much here, just some smoke. But like plenty of explosions. And Iraq is honestly, it's getting a little hot over there. So starting yesterday, we had clashes between Iraqi security forces and pro-Iranian protesters outside of the US embassy in Iraq. This is what this looked like yesterday. That's a pretty serious protest. Again, protesting against us attacking Iran. And that is happening at the US embassy in Baghdad, I believe, in this case. We also had a similar situation happening in Pakistan. Here is what the current protests outside of oh, actually, wait, no, hold on, this is still from yesterday. I do have current ones of today because the same people are out there protesting in front of the US embassy again today. So I'll open those as well because it's gotten a bit worse since yesterday. There we go. So, hey. Not the right button. So this was still yesterday. Oh, guys, you think the Iranians are rising up on our side right now? That's not what's happening. The Iranians are outside. So look, there are a lot of people in Iran that dislike the regime. And that's very, obviously, yes. But they also very much dislike the United States. These are pro-Iranian government demonstrations across Iran right now. Iranians are more capable of nuance than we are. Literally, yeah. This is the day. And really, like, it makes sense as to why. They are obviously happy that the dictator's dead, but mad at us, you know, not in support of the US intervention. And it makes a lot of sense when you look at what their fucking capital looks like.
Idiot! What? What?
The Iranians that are celebrating are Iranians that don't live in Iran. They're happy that Khamenei is dead. That's about it. That's about it. Again, you know, ironically, Hassan kind of puts this perfectly, and I'll pull up that video, but so does this protester in the United States.
I'm Iranian. My family's Persian. We came from Iran in the 70s. I have family in Iran that were impacted by this. I woke up this morning and I had to look up at the school my nieces go to is the one we bombed. So, fucking insane. It's not, but, you know, you don't know when you wake up in the morning like this, right? Especially the extent that we're bombing Iran. I don't know if tomorrow I'll find out that my uncle's dead or my nieces are dead or... So, we heard a confusing...
You are incorrect, Latino Mufune. We have zero intention to install the Shah. If we had any intention to install the Shah, we'd be talking about it more. The Shah's, like, son is out here like, hey, pick me, pick me. No. The intention is to let a power vacuum fill the region, create more chaos, and use it as a justification for further war in the region. It is not a regime change operation. It is creating a new war. No wonder what the civilian death count is right now. Who the fuck knows? It's the test of true stubborn leftists. If one leftist is like, shit really hit the fan, and the other leftist is like, lawfully obligated to go, dude, shit has been hitting the fan. I have foreseen it all, no surprises here. But the first leftist says, of course, all predictable, just another day. The other leftist is obliged to say, this is like major shift. You're drastically downplaying the seriousness of the situation. Well, I mean, you're not wrong, Holy Nova, if you're talking about basically anyone else, but I've literally been saying exactly this, like day after day after day after day after day after day after day for about a year and a half now, so, you know. I was talking about the history of the US-Iran relation, not the current war. Oh, yeah, no, in that case, that's true. Historically, yes. But in this current case, we have zero intention of actually placing a puppet in the region ahead of us. But, like, the celebrations concept, the discourse on that, Hassan puts this perfectly. Just like Hassan, I am a Turkish diasporoid. I cannot return to Turkey. I've talked far too much shit about Erdogan. Would I be happy if he was dead? Yeah. Would I be celebrating having Istanbul look like what Tehran looks like right now? Fuck no.
Like, I am a diasporoid, okay? I am a fucking diasporoid myself. And I can't go back to Turkey. Turkey has no free speech. Turkey is very heavy in its prosecution and persecution of people who have spoken out against the state. I've written extensively back in the day at Huffington Post about the Turkish coup d'etat, okay? And I was critical of the government regardless, right? I was critical of the government, and I still am, and I haven't stopped being critical.
It's pathetic to the people who can't do this, who can't be critical of their government and still, I don't know, not be scummy about it. Like I was watching Turkish news right when like this all first started, because there was like much more live coverage at the time coming out of Turkey that made sense, and they were talking about this in a way that was pretty similar. Was, oh yeah, no, the like Iranian people may be happy, but they're not gonna support the rest of this. They were talking about this in a way that made it seem like, I don't know, reality comparatively, and that was Turkish state media, which is controlled by a dictator. If you no longer, if you no longer a citizen, can you make fun of them as a foreign national and still visit? No, I can't, and I am still a Turkish citizen, even if you, like, Turkey specifically is interesting, because even if you, like, revoke your own Turkish citizenship, they have a law that says you still keep all of the perks of your Turkish citizenship, because a lot of Turks live in Germany, and Germany doesn't allow dual citizenship, and a lot of Erdogan's voters live in Germany. So, you know, maybe it's kind of a win-win for US-Israel. Create chaos, makes money. If stability arises from the chaos that is unfriendly with them, and start bombing again. Basically, the goal is to do that. Yeah, create chaos, make money, siphon. If stability comes out, then you fight more. If no stability comes out, then you still fight more. Hassan's chat flies faster than the majority of reports. I mean, there's like 50,000 people watching it. I wouldn't be able to keep up with that chat. Any deleted leader or high command person in any country, anywhere, might result in the same amount of people celebrating. That's not a meaningful metric for anything. Literally, yeah.
Critical of the Erdogan regime. However, there has never been a moment in my life where I have felt the indignity in my soul of saying Turkey would be better off with an American puppet installed in its leadership. It is the most undignified, disgusting, worm-like behavior that I have ever seen. And for some weird fucking reason, there are so many in the Iranian diaspora, so many in the Cuban diaspora, so many in the Venezuelan diaspora that straight up think that this is the appropriate measure. It is disgusting to me.
I agree entirely. It shows zero, like, actual belief. It shows, like, that you just only care about your own personal benefit, not your country, not the people in your country. Sorry, I don't know what the hell is happening with Knifebot over there. A dictator can make things stable but awful? Yeah, generally, that is possible. Like a dictator that is at least moderately competent? Yeah. But, like, what Hassan was talking about and what I'm talking about here, the people who have no real beliefs, who don't give a shit about their country, who are only celebrating because it is a personal benefit to them, like these people over here. You're gonna play music, don't play music, it'll be copyright. Like dancing in the street with the old Iranian flag of, like, the Shah's Iranian flag. Like, this is pathetic. Nobody wants a puppet, no matter how much they hate their own leader. Literally, yeah. Would I prefer Erdogan or Fethullah Gulen, who was like a US CIA op? Personally, in that case, kinda. But that was because of specific beliefs that dude held. And also because he was weaker. And because Turkey is very coup-prone by the military. But besides that, no. Like, today, no. Fethullah Gulen is dead. Like, that's no longer the case. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's look at some of these strikes that have happened so far. Here is U.S. Army Camp Buhring in central Kuwait getting hit. We haven't even talked about the Interceptor situation yet.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
Is there more? Like a 48-second video.
They're starting to...
Cool. Imagery from Chinese satellites. Analysis company Mizar Vision shows Ali Al Salem Air Base in Kuwait earlier today with at least 3 plumes of black smoke visible, one emanating from a large building south of the airfield, and 2 other areas that appear to be industrial or storage. Wait a minute, they can shoot down 3 F-15s and get that drone? Well, so reportedly currently the F-15s were shot down by friendly fire from Kuwaiti air defense, but like drones are a little different. First off, like they're kind of hard to see, Shahed drones, especially the ones Iran uses because they're kind of white and they're coming from the sky. But like, do you want to waste a $2 million Interceptor on a $30,000 tops drone? No, you don't, especially when you're already running extremely low on Interceptors. Now, oh yeah, I forgot, we were talking about the clashes in front of the embassy in Baghdad and Karachi. So, also, this is tonight in Baghdad, in front of the US Embassy. I showed you yesterday, this is today. This is again in Iraq. This is protesters fighting, I guess, the Iraqi security forces at the US Embassy. What else we got here? Not the same video, but like a little bit different. See? A lot of booms. The soldiers filming these videos always seem so nonchalant. I wonder how they actually feel. Like, they probably feel exactly how they're talking on the video. Like they kind of are that nonchalant. After a little while, you kind of get impressed with like boom. Like you stop getting impressed with booms. The one American that was like, "Fuck, man, that's my car." That's probably the most of a reaction you'll get, unless it's like right in front of them. I've heard Sagar saying that the US military isn't equipped to maintain a prolonged war. So is the Pentagon, Hybrid Heat. Then we're going to get to there. Sagar's not wrong about this. I have that for when we get there. Yes, it is a fair claim. In fact, it's not just the US. It is Kuwait. It is Qatar. It is like all the Gulf states. Like it is Israel. They are not doing great on interceptors. We don't have this capability, and Iran can keep this up for a lot longer than we can. Okay, continuing on. We've got actual, like, gunfire now in front of the US Embassy in Baghdad. So that's getting bad. Yeah, logistics and planning are woke and gay, so we didn't plan for that. Yeah, funny enough, that's literally what generally wins wars. But, you know, it is what it is. The Iranian drones are upgraded upon a base of reserve engineered Predator drones that were shot down in Iran during Obama's second term. Iran's new missiles and torpedoes retooled from the same basis. Rumor has it that their distilled autonomous AI targeting system added on top of all of those. I would believe it because they're doing a decent amount of damage. So yesterday, we also had this happen. This was at a US consulate in Pakistan. Mind you, note that Pakistan currently, a day before we started bombing Iran, declared war with Afghanistan. So this isn't a country that is actively at war with Afghanistan, protesting in front of the US consulate doing this. And what we do is pretty wild. Hi Viz, hi chat. Are we winning yet? Depends on who you mean by we. This is in a country that is currently in a different war. Not even with us. Technically, Pakistan is an ally. That was geo-confirmed. This was protesters inside the fence of the US consulate in Karachi. They actually got in. But then we also have video, and I don't care what this community note says, I can see it with my own fucking eyes. Here is an American soldier opening fire in Karachi on Pakistani civilians. The US soldier is right there. So, you know, making friends everywhere, having a good time, I guess. That's all that's important in the end. Why? Well, I mean, because they broke into the consulate, but I mean, we shot and killed reportedly 8 people in Islamabad. Clashes in Islamabad, protester wants to go to the US embassy, police forcefully detaining them. Shooting in Karachi, US Marines shot at the protesters outside the US consulate and reportedly killed 8. Protesters set fire to the US embassy in Karachi. Seriously, how did we not assume this might happen? Did we get nothing from Benghazi on this? Yeah, funny enough, I've seen a bunch of Democrats mentioning Benghazi in reference to this one. Clearly, it doesn't matter. Oh, actually, funeral prayer for 10 Pakistanis killed by US Marines in Karachi as of this morning. So it was 10. We killed 10 of them. It took those people an un-American amount of time to process what was happening and react. Not used to mass shooters, I guess. Yeah, it seems like, you know, Pakistan doesn't get the training to hide from mass shooters starting in grade school. Sometimes, I suppose, you know, that could benefit you. If you live in America, it could benefit you, considering you're probably going to need it. But besides that, only 4 Americans? Well, it's because Hillary was weak. Yeah, literally. We've had 6 die so far, mind you. Since we, like, 6 confirmed U.S. casualties so far. Confirmed. Not necessarily just 6 in total. Now, hold on, let me get some more stuff open. Now, I am going to be censoring chat for a little bit for this section. Sorry, guys. Is this winning? I would argue no, it ain't. Alright, here's some of what it looks like over on Tel Aviv's side. Now you see why I censored chat. I mean, no we don't. Not on here, but privacy enough. So this whole fucking clip was for that, just one. I suppose it took like a little minute for the boom to get through, but they're getting in, you know? We also got this one. The dome is not perfect, this is true, and it's already been shown to have specific weaknesses that Iran likes to utilize, which is why they often send like lots of their slower stuff at them first, so that they use up the interceptors on that. They throw in some Shaheds with the missiles they're firing, they time them so they arrive at about the same time, stuff like that, and it works. Because there's only so much that you can do when there's that much saturation of targets. We had the UAE close its embassy in Iran and recall its ambassador, which is a pretty big deal. We currently also have stuff like this happening, which I find very funny. So this is Israeli President Isaac Herzog talking about Iran's placement of military facilities. But as a reminder that Israel's defense ministry and military HQ is based in the heart of Tel Aviv, near residential buildings and shopping malls, just as a reminder.
President Herzog, at least 148 people were apparently killed in a strike on a girls' school in Iran. That's according to local officials. CNN.
And that was us, by the way. That was, I believe, the USS Abraham Lincoln blew up that school.
And has not independently verified those numbers. Do you know what happened there?
No, we don't know. And we are trying to verify it, and we don't have any facts to that effect. And we don't shy away from checking anything. But we also have to understand that part of the strategy of this jihadist movement is to base its infrastructure of terror, let's say missiles, long-range missiles, in civilian surroundings. So I don't know.
Just wanted to remind you all that the military HQ and Ministry of Defense in Israel is near residential buildings and shopping malls, just as a nice little reminder there. Then we also have more stuff like this. This is in Tel Aviv. Let's see, what else we got? Yes, we had the RAF base in Cyprus get hit because, it's a UK base that was being used by US forces. In fact, funny enough, in the Shahed that was used to hit the RAF base, that was taken down. I guess that might not have been real. It was reported that there were some Russian parts found on that Shahed. I was gonna say no confirmation on this yet, but down, so what are you gonna do? But that is part of why we have this back and forth between France, Germany, and the UK, because they've had their own bases hit, which makes them want to come and defend, but their own public is very much against them joining in on the war. So they hid the weapons in a city, so they destroy the city. Come on, man. Literally, Iron Dome launchers are right next to apartment high-rises. I saw a video of an apartment high-rise just having an Iron Dome missile coming out of right in front of it, like an interceptor. So yeah. This is the US military base in Bahrain last night before it was gone. It was burned to the ground, gone. They love projecting onto anyone that they attack. Every accusation is a confession with fascists. It's true. Every time. That was close. A lot have been getting through. What else we got? This was the result of one of the ballistic missiles that landed in Jerusalem. Occupied Jerusalem. My bad. Let's see what else we got. We got this one. Here is another one that broke through the defense. They're getting through. They're running out of interceptors. Everyone is.
Oh my god.
That one may have been a hypersonic? I don't know. It wasn't going that fast, but And then what of the missiles they shoot at the missiles? Surely those all detonate before hitting the ground? Yeah, for example, there is currently debate among whether, Iran bombed the Saudi oil field, Israel bombed the Saudi oil field, or the Saudi interceptor that intercepted an Iranian missile fell onto an oil field, and we can't tell. For example, there's stuff like that happens. We had a US knockoff of a Shahed, the Lucas drone, crash in Iraq.
Yo! Yo! No way! No way!
What do you mean, no way? Is this not like every day for you?
Oh my god!
What the fuck do you mean, no way? Like, that's a lot getting through. This looks like towards the end of last month. Why the fuck does he sound excited, not scared? Why do you think this is Israel? They like they're taught at a young age to like conflict. They all have to serve in the IDF. Like, they think explosions and booms are cool. Like, of course they're excited. How many? Well, let's count. I'm gonna count only the bigger flashes because I'm gonna assume the rest are like interceptors falling. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I lost count at like 25. So, you know. I lost count at like 25. But obviously, like, it's not one way. We have been seeing increases in the amount of bombings in Iran, and just today we have said that, like, this is just like the beginning. Like, the brunt of our attacks on Iran haven't started yet. But this is what it's looked like so far. How are you supposed to get up and go to work on Monday with that in the night sky? You don't. What do you mean go to work? You go to the bomb shelter. You're in a war. That makes, like, oh, by the way, they're also bombing Lebanon right now. I did forget to mention that. Yeah, we already watched that. These are Fateh ballistic missiles. Thank you. I didn't know exactly which kind those were. Iranian drone strike on the hotel in Manama, the capital of Bahrain, injured 2 employees of the U.S. Department of Defense. This is confirmed now. We know that there were 2 members of the DoD in this hotel, and that's why they hit the hotel. They actually, like, injured the 2 DoD employees. In Lebanon, they do a rave on Sunday nights where the sky, streaming across the sky adds to the party. I have seen those videos, like rooftop bars where people are just, like, watching. So, now we get to the Interceptor problem. The UAE is projected to exhaust its Interceptor stock within 1 week of the current rate of fire. Qatar within 4 days. And both are urgently seeking additional military support from the United States. Now, Qatar has come out since this and said, no, we have more than, like, that, but not quite exactly how many and not how long they can last. And, like, this is their counter claim here. Patriot Interceptor missile inventory has not been depleted and remains well stocked, the country's international media office said in a statement, rejecting a Bloomberg report that it had stated it only had stocks for 4 more days at the current rate. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, the US is running out. And you can see that by Trump telling the New York Times. Asked how long the United States and Israel could keep up this level of attacks, he responded, quote, well, we intend for 4 to 5 weeks. Quote, it won't be difficult, Mr. Trump added. Quote, we have tremendous amounts of ammunition. You know, we have ammunition stored all over the world in other countries. This is him talking about cannibalizing stocks of, like, interceptor missiles in other countries. Yeah, see, that's from Sagar, by the way, Hybrid Heathen. This is the bit that, like, Sagar posted. So we're currently talking about taking our interceptors and our like THAAD stockpile and all that stuff from other countries that we've stocked with them, which, to be fair, those countries paid for, mind you. Does the concept of classified not matter to these people? Not really, no. Meanwhile, Iran seems to have struck a deal right before this with China for cheap, relevant manufacturing supplies. They were in the midst of a bigger deal that didn't go through for anti-ship missiles, but yes. And here's another funny thing. Chinese state media is airing live broadcasts of US military bases in the region so that Iran can strike them. Hold on. Because, like, you know, Iran's own ability to gather information might be a little bit difficult. I'm not gonna find the video. I should have saved it when I saved it. And I'm not scrolling through fucking pamphlets to find it. Wait! Here we go. This is the same video, basically. It's talking like, okay, this is the base. This is what it looks like. This is how far it is. What show is it? I have no idea. Oh, these are the planes that are on this base that you can target.
配有数量众多的加固弹药库和航空油库，在停机坪可见大批加油机、运输机，还有少量直升机。
I'm sorry, this is just so funny. I mean, this is just CNN behavior. Yeah, like, except like, you know, CNN doesn't do this because America needs help with the targeting. Iran probably does need help with targeting, and so China's just airing it live on television.
乌代德基地拥有完善的防空设施，其爱国
We're being as treated as serious as the Russians. We are as serious as the Russians.
者导弹发射架指向伊朗方向。这是位于巴林的贾法勒海军支援基地，它是美军在中东的海上心脏，也是美国海军第五舰队司令部。该基地距离伊朗海岸近200余公里，基地内可见。
Like they're even drawing distance. Like, I swear to God, in like a couple days, I'm gonna see one of these where it's gonna show distance and it's gonna show like slope too, so it could be like, this is how high to aim. Like, don't even worry about the math, bro. We got you. Here's the slope that you need to put it at. Now, meanwhile, while all of this is happening, hold on. A lot of these are out of order, so I gotta grab them in the right order, so it makes... We had a US analyst say this recently in regards to our ability to produce stockpiles of interceptors and Iran's ability to continue firing missiles.
He said the same thing. He seemed to be implying they'll attack as long as they're being attacked.
Right.
Can they do it? Does Iran have that kind of...
Oh, Iran could go for months. At the rate that they're going, they're still manufacturing missiles and drones.
Yeah,
so,
they are still manufacturing missiles and drones. That is true. There's also stocks located amidst various countries and smaller Patriot batteries that could be spread across the area where we may not need them currently. Well, that's what I'm saying, is we've already had Trump talking about cannibalizing interceptor stocks from other countries. And those other countries, like, some of those paid for them, some of them are being, like, used as storage by us, but, like, moving those away from those countries is usually a gamble, because you might need them later. What's up, Headless Chicken? Thank you for the sub. Can I be cool, like, when I grow up? Cool like you when I grow up? Absolutely. Yes, you can. Anyone can. Now the onboard AI handles that, which China is supplying the parts for. Ah, that makes sense. Thanks, Anarchist Tech Support.
Still have manufacturing facilities going. So the missiles and drones that they're firing right now, they're backfilling. U.S. doesn't have that kind of capacity for backfilling anti-aircraft.
Maybe?
And what are he said the same?
Yeah, well, I mean, considering the fact that right now, they're already potentially putting out, like, excuses to back off. Like, we'll look into most of those statements in a minute, but, like, let me give you, like, this as an example. White House seems to be signaling a way that they can declare victory and stop bombing Iran, even as Iranians reject overtures from the United States to restart talks. This is the most likely way that this ends, with Trump just calling it quits unilaterally at some point. What Israel and Iran will do at that point is unclear. No tagbacks type shit. Well, so here's the thing. No matter what we do, there's no backing out. Right now, regardless of whether we are involved or not, there are no ships going through the Strait of Hormuz, where 70% of the global oil supply flows. There is no ships traveling through the Suez Canal and the Red Sea. There is no insurance for trade vessels available, which means trade vessels will not sail. Do you know how much it costs to buy a trade vessel, like a tanker ship? They're like hundreds of millions of dollars in some cases. You insure them for millions, tens of millions of dollars is how much insurance costs. And you can't even get that right now. So not only were like, if you wanted to have a ship go from Mumbai to the UK, it would take 27 to 29 extra days having to go all the way around Africa. They also wouldn't be insured and wouldn't take that like trip. They just won't go anywhere. Because if they lose, then they go bankrupt. Which means, especially Americans who rely on imports, very few goods are produced in America, especially international imports, y'all are going to have a lot of price increases, let alone gas prices, and you are going to have a lot of bare and empty shelves. Don't ask how I know, but Fort Bragg is having meetings from some folks that are flying down from Quantico, and that tracks with the way that the Army usually handles infrastructure and logistics. Oh, yeah, we've already talked about, like, boots on the ground being a possibility. If this gets prolonged even a little, massive shortage. I mean, at this point, no matter what, massive shortage. It's unavoidable. Hey, you might notice I've left your Discord. I promise it has nothing to do with you. I've left all political servers I was in. Oh, that's okay. Like, I don't check Discord, and I am working on moving my people off of Discord onto Matrix. But if you are, like, interested in, like, doing stuff like phone banking for Kat Abuzala, DM me, because I'll help you get them set up with, Matrix, which is the only safe comms that you'll have that's not, like, in person in a Faraday room with like a tarp covering the windows and shit. But at the same time, so we're putting out mixed messages. We have talks coming out of like, you know, we have words coming out of leadership like Trump talking about possible boots on the ground not being ruled out, such as New York Post. Trump won't rule out sending U.S. troops into Iran if necessary. Matrix, mind if I DM you about that? Yes, you can do so, absolutely. I'm going to be making videos on it, Headless Chicken, but I've talked about it like extensively. I did a whole segment on it on this space last week, but it's pretty cool. And yeah, she's fantastic. I support Kat. So we have that, and then we have the people talking about possibly backing down. We have this coming out of the Pentagon, because they're freaked the fuck out. Hold on, I won't shoot. Open a couple things so we can go in order. So, concern is growing inside the Pentagon. The conflict could spiral on. You know, that mood is intense and paranoid. Officials worry fighting will further drain already limited U.S. air defense stockpiles. There's concern about lasting more than a few days, and others said noting it can take 2 to 3 interceptors to stop one missile. Way ahead of schedule. What the fuck does that mean? I don't know. It's not like we can say we ran out of, you know, intercept. Oh, by the way, we bombed 9 hospitals in Tehran. But, again, U.S. intelligence, prior to us bombing, said what could happen, the least likely, remote likeliness, was a uprising of the Iranian people that would be something that we liked. The most likely scenarios that the CIA predicted was a hardline cleric, or perhaps an even more, like a leader even more bent on acquiring nuclear weapons. Killed more successors to the throne, I guess, like, yeah. So then, I don't know, because you look at Marco Rubio, and that conflicts with the Pentagon and the CIA.
The second question that's been asked is, why now? Well, there's two reasons why now. The first is it was abundantly clear that if Iran came under attack by anyone, the United States or Israel or anyone, they were going to respond and respond against the United States. The orders had been delegated down to the field commanders. It was automatic, and in fact,
the Pentagon openly stating that there was zero threat on any American target from Iran before we bombed them. No, we didn't do it because of Israel. We did it because of Larry Ellison. We did it for money. Israel is just 9 companies in a trench coat, and then the civilians that live under them. Like, that's just it. Yeah.
To bear it to be true, because in fact, within an hour of the initial attack on the
Iran still considers nuclear weapons to be a crime against God. That is true. There is nobody with access to know who will assert that Iran wanted nuclear weapons. This may change that. In fact, I would say, Anarchist Tech Support, if this doesn't go America's way and they do get a new person in charge, it will change that. Also, for the kids out there who think I'm a fasci because I'm more centrist than some of y'all, I'm working on no one thinks you're fasci, Headless Chicken. If anyone in this chat thought you were fasci, I would tell them off. You are a classical liberal, not like in the modern term.
on the leadership
But yeah, so Marco Rubio just outright conflicting with the Pentagon and the CIA. Meanwhile, like, they're getting slaughtered by their own fucking media. This is on Fox News.
This is a discussion that has not been had because he bypassed Congress. The accountability mechanism.
A president has the right to take military action for 60 days.
If there's an imminent threat, and there is no imminent threat. Let me be
that
really
might be
clear
your
about
opinion.
this. It's not
That's
my
your opinion.
I sit on the Armed Services and the Intelligence Committee. If there are imminent threats, they have an obligation to tell us about it. I have seen no imminent threat. And even people within the administration have denied that there's an imminent threat. So listen, a president is a...
Like, literally getting cooked even on Fox News is funny. And yeah, 60 days is a long time. We did say 4 weeks that we were going to do this for, but, like, God knows. And, finally, last video on Rubio. You would think with this much projection, the man would be 50 feet tall, but...
radical cleric. That entire regime is led by radical clerics who don't make geopolitical decisions. They make decisions on the basis of theology, their view of theology, which is an apocalyptic one. That has to be taken very seriously as well.
Yeah, like, again, you'd think with this amount of projection, the man would be 50 feet tall. The apocalyptic decision-making, the religious decision-making, the theocratic stuff. Meanwhile, you have this happening the same day in English.
We don't know. Maybe one of the missiles will hit the mosque.
This is about
and clear the place for the third Bet HaMikdash. That could also be a miracle. If it was up to me, the last time when they shot hundreds of missiles, I would pretend that one missile came from Iran and shoot it down. You know? Then all the Arabs will go against Iran, and it will be the end of the problems. You make them fight with each other, this bunch.
Just openly talking about false flags. And specifically, like, apocalyptic, religious, based, like, decision-making. So, you know.
Bunch of lunatics. Never too late. You deal with a bunch of cowards. The Israeli leaders, they just want to pass the week. Let us survive this week. They don't think long-term.
Insane shit. Insane shit. Insane shit. As for the person who was bragging about the Iran strikes just before they happened, you are not wrong. Where is that video? How did it? Aha. This one. It's on fucking TMZ.
DC, Joe Scum Crab.
Oh, also, guys, go follow Zachap. Friend of the channel, fantastic streamer and educator and leftist. Go follow them.
Could you have picked a more crowded restaurant?
No. And in fact, if I were to tell you what I was overhearing at the next table, you'd die.
I think I'm going to ask.
Speaking of, do these people know classified me?
Do that. Okay, here we go. You're in Washington, D.C.
You could have gone to a million places to do a podcast where it was calm, and you choose Joe Stonecrab.
Correct. And by the way, do you know why? Because I actually was going to leave, but the conversation that I was overhearing on the next table over was so fascinating I couldn't leave.
Oh, spill it. Spill it.
I think things are happening by the time this drops in Iran, is what I'll leave it at that.
You're kidding me. Somebody from the government was next to you?
His name rhymes with Schmeat Schmegstaff.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
No.
By the way, my meal is getting cold.
I don't care. I'll buy you another meal. I'll buy you another meal. What did they say?
that today is the day. Friday is we're sitting here.
Are you serious?
I literally just heard it at the next table. So I'll leave it at that.
Also, like, there was a bunch of money made just before the bombing happened. Of course, there is every time with this fucking regime. They just trade information and then do insider trading before anything actually happens because they just want to rob you. That's always been the case. That will continue to be the case. I found this. This I found quite funny. Hold on. I have a lot more stuff than I thought I did. Jesus Christ. Here is a man in Tennessee asking Tennessee House Republicans to point out Iran on a map.
So I'm standing outside this Tennessee Republican House Caucus meeting, and I'm going to ask them if any of them can find Iran on this map. And if they can, I got $20 for them.
How many do you, there? I think there's 7 or 8 people that he asks. How many do you think will actually get it?
Honey, I got $20 for any of you guys that can find Iran on this map. Can you do it?
I probably can, but I don't have time right now.
The time you took to put your finger up was all the time you needed, mate. You can't name Iran. Nice try. Next one.
Oh, you don't have... Johnny, I got $20 if you can find Iran on this map. We're gonna go be in Congress. $20 if you can find Iran on this map.
Okay.
Here you go. Just point to it.
Can you?
Just point to it. 20 right here.
Yeah. Well, I'm
right here. Didn't think, guys. I got $20 if any of you can find Iran on this map.
It's right there.
$20 if any.
It's right there. Gestures at the paper.
You can point to Iran. You got $20 right here.
I know exactly where it is.
You know where it is?
Yeah.
Can you see it, Kip? $20 if you can find Iran on this map.
It got blown up last week.
Point to Iran. Point to it. Can you point to it?
That is Saudi Arabia. Nice try. You're at least close.
Nope. It's close. You're close.
We're trying in there.
Which one?
That was Iraq. You touched Iran, but you were pointing at Iraq.
There's a
Which
rack.
one? Which one?
Is that right there?
No, you're close though. You're
Okay.
close, but no, you lose. Scott, Mark, $20 if you guys can find Iran on this map. If you can point to Iran.
Oh, I know exactly where it is.
Which one?
That's Africa.
Which one?
Well, let's see where we are.
Where is
Here,
it?
it's right there. Middle East, right there. Yeah.
Scott got it. Scott got it.
One of them got it right. Hey, we have one Republican in Tennessee who can point out the country that we are bombing on a map. One. That's it. That's it. What else do we have? Oh yeah, this is how the Iranian people feel about what's happening right now.
Where do you see this going? Is there an off-ramp for Iran?
I think what will happen is that even if the United States is able to kill illegally Iranian leaders, the next generation of Iranians, the Iranians that did not see American atrocities in Iran before 1979, some Iranians that did not understand why their parents and grandparents were anti-American, those Iranians will take over. Now they understand why American government is an imperialist, vicious government, and a government that attacks other countries and kills little children. They understand they're fighting the Epstein class that either rape little girls or bomb little girls.
Don't forget boys. They also rape and bomb little boys too, and little NBs. But yes, like, they're fighting the Epstein class. These people would either rape children or bomb children, and that's all they want to do. And that's how the Iranian people view this. Are they happy Khamenei's dead? Probably a lot of them, yeah. Are they happy that we're doing this? Fuck no!
The Epstein class that either rape little girls or bomb little girls. This is the government that we are witnessing. We are going to fight back against that government, and they're going to ensure that the Islamic Republic of Iran will live many years after America destroys itself.
Epstein class is really catching on. Because it's literally true. I mean, like, here. I wasn't going to go through this one. But, just because it's quite long. But here is document EFTA 012113330 from the Epstein files. Iran, there we go. My God, is he that cornered? China, Pakistan, Russia, Turkey, Iran. He might also have decided to trade the Kurds to Turkey for them standing down on Saudi. The game is on now. Like, this is them talking about setting up for this kind of stuff. This is, in this, like, email chain, you have Jeffrey Epstein talking about Trump like he's a cornered rat. And that, like they're going drip by drip, but rats go crazy before the cage closed. Too much time. The Republicans are beginning to understand. I wouldn't be surprised to see him do things that might encourage a real problem. Like, they were talking about this in relation to Iran way back in 2018. If you want to read this file, I will link it. There's a lot in here. It is quite thick with information. So, you know, have a look at it. If you refer to billionaires as anything other than the Epstein class, I'm very suspicious of you. Basically, yeah. I'll let it slide with ruling class. Basically, I'm getting used to the word, so occasionally I'll say something else, but then I always, like, throw it in after, like, I remind myself. We had reports of a massive explosion at the US Embassy in Riyadh today as well. And now, I mean, like, first off, the only person that I have found anywhere in the world who is, like, actually cock-gobbling the Americans for this operation is Mark Rutte. Even Albanese, like, even, like, the Australians who are entirely cucked, who put out their, like, message of support, they're not doing this. This is Mark Rutte on Fox News today.
Mr. Secretary, great to see you.
Also, Operation Epic Fury is the dumbest name that they could have went with. Like, they just get worse every time. At least the other operation names sounded like condom brands and were funny.
Your reaction since this campaign started 48 hours ago. In the beginning, no European support. Has anything changed?
Well, let me first of all say that my thoughts are with the service members, the U.S. service members who made the ultimate sacrifice over the last couple of days. And let me also say that the commander-in-chief, the leader of the free world, President Donald J. Trump.
The leader of the free world. You're the only one who still thinks this, Mark Rutte.
I really commend what is happening here. Taking out Khamenei, taking out the nuclear capability in Iran, but also taking out the ballistic missile program in Iran. This is crucial. And what I
Except he's not done that, has he?
All the key European leaders over the weekend is widespread support for what the president is doing, and also making sure that when it comes to logistics, access, defending key U.S. interests.
Yeah, we're doing great defending key U.S. interests right now, aren't we? I'm sure Mike Johnson is upset that he didn't go with Operation Cowboy Massage. True. I'm calling it Operation Epic Furry. I mean, there's literally an AI-generated image of Kash Patel in a furry suit sitting in a situation room with that tag. I'd show it, but then I'd have to click the "This video shows AI-generated content" button on YouTube, and I'm not doing that shit. Epstein and all the rest of the predators are merely the fruits of the poison field. If it wasn't Epstein and Trump, it would have been all the other. Oh, that's what I've been saying. Epstein is nothing. Trump is nothing. This is still happening. For example, if you read the files, one of the biggest trafficking hubs and places where they were raping children was Mar-a-Lago, which is currently like the second White House. Also, like, again, there are multiple of these throughout history. More Perfect Union recently did one of a one in San Francisco that's kind of still similar. It's more in the woods. It's still active. Presidents have been there. SEAL Team 6 has been there. We have Great St. James right next to Little St. James. We have Prospera Island. We have a bunch of these all over the place. None of this shit stopped. The world runs on human trafficking. In fact, the only outcome of the release of the Epstein files in the way that they were released is the normalization of this stuff. It functioned as these like demons bragging, and I guarantee now within like 10 years, because we did nothing about it, we're gonna have legalized organ trafficking. Like that's gonna be a thing where you could just kind of like sell your organ like you do in this exists in other countries, mind you, but like it's gonna be part of an industry because that's also what they were building. Like literally, that's why Epstein was friends with multiple, like the dude who invented CRISPR technology for gene editing, for one. Arnav, is it possible that Trump was responsible for the tracking? I mean, like, the thing is, they're all responsible for it, but this existed long before them. The entire operation, like everything that Epstein and all, like, there's a reason you're still allowed to read these files, by the way, because it's breaking your brains. Look, I wasn't going to go into this, but I'm going to play you a short little video. And this is true. The Epstein files are still allowed to be read by you people because it's breaking your brains. And it's because of the satanic stuff. I mean, like, heavily involved in trafficking? Oh, for sure. 100%. 100%. For sure. Mar-a-Lago was one of the main places for it. The other part of this is that the files are inundated with satanic language. It's not Satanism. It's just, like, the basis of what Christianity was founded on. It's the shit Jesus was mad about. Like, that's what they believe. The Epstein class and all the satanic bullshit that you're reading that's making people go crazy, that's just the stuff that Jesus was mad about and then created Christianity for. There was stop eating babies, stop doing blood sacrifices, all that shit. Like, it was just that. Make temple beatings great again. I support this. And the sky is blue. That too.
Inundated with propaganda and pipeline memes. You need to open your mind and expand your perspective. And y'all said, global elite lizard people. No, I told y'all not to jump in that propaganda water full force. It's going to take your legs out from underneath you, and it did. Dip your toes in. The water is more of a rushing rapid than a pipeline leading one way. It's going to go... And that rapid pipeline leads directly to the alt-right. Shape-shifting global elitist lizard people Illuminati? Y'all took that information that we now know to be true, that we've only gotten 1% of, that y'all could be waiting to get more on, and you threw it as far that way as possible. You got it?
So the reason, Latina Mifune, I said human trafficking rather than modern slave trade is because in the context that I was using it, the people being trafficked aren't going to be used as slaves. It's going to be more like scrap. Here's an organ we can take. Here's an organ. Here's some stem cells. Here's some bone marrow. Sell it to rich people to extend their lifespan. Every accusation is a confession, Headless Chicken. Like, that's all the Epstein files really should tell you, is that everything they accused of other people doing was just them doing it. Because that's what they, like, it even says it in the files. And that's all I'm saying on this from this point forward. I'm done with the Epstein files. I know what I need to know. Beyond it, like, I've already told you the solution. We could have the solution. It would be fantastic. Hell, I would be cool with letting one of them, being the president, not go to prison. If he did the rest of this, if we just took everyone but the president, put them back on the island, we turned all the cameras to a live feed, and we put weapon stashes all over the island. Now, the president is going to have a full security force. He's going to be our host. We're going to tell everyone that one of them will get off the island, but we're not going to tell them that the one person who gets off the island is the host that has, like, military and like full body shields like around him, and he's gonna be our Caesar from the Hunger Games. Oh my God, here comes Peter Thiel choking Mark Zuckerberg down, bashing him with a rock. Like, it would be a role he was born to play. And he gets to leave. I'd be okay with that. I like, personally, yeah, did he do a lot of evil shit? Yes. Would I be okay with that as the outcome? Yes. Would he grow in popularity if he did this? Yes. I feel like it's a fair middle ground, you know? He can't be hurt because he's the president, and that'd be a Fed post, and, you know, like, we'll tell everyone, no targeting. And we let them think that, you know, one of them plus him get off the island. We just don't tell them that it's him that gets off the island. That would work, in my opinion. These dipshits spend years talking about coded furniture prices, meanwhile actual pedos just openly talk about trafficking kids. Well, to be fair, not entirely, Hundo. There was specific bits that they didn't just openly talk about. Like, there's a lot of messages that say not for email in the files. Make sure the president has his dedicated meth supply. Gotta make sure he doesn't sound like Sleepy Joe. Oh yeah, no, for sure. Like, I would be, like, totally down for that. He would be high energy. He'd be a great host. The dude liked to do reality TV stuff. This is the ultimate reality TV stuff. Billionaire Deathmatch is a show I'm not too ashamed to say that I'd at least check out. It's just the Epstein games. It's not, you know, Billionaire Deathmatch. It's the Epstein game. Alright, let's take a look at a couple funny things. Here is Mark Wayne Mullen on 2 separate occasions, forgetting which country we're bombing.
But it's up to the Iraqi people, or I'm sorry, the Iranian people, to choose their next leader. It's up to them to rise up and kick this regime out of place. If they do not, then they will be with a different leader, but the same regime. If they choose to get a different leader that we can have a relationship with, which we would love to. Prior to 1979, we had a...
I love the calling it Iraq. Here's him doing it again. This one one was on Fox, one was on CNN. He did it on 2 networks in the same day.
Organizations that was trying to harm us. There's no question that Iran clearly fits in that picture, because we know organizations that was trying to harm us. There's no...
It's just so funny. You know, right now, Iran has the potential to withstand this. And if they do, and we lose... Like, if we back out, like, you know, Caroline Levitt is suggesting in this, which we're about to read, that is a big deal. And again, this is the live cost that you're paying for. You are paying $4,398 a second as the U.S. taxpayer for this. I mean, kinda, yeah. Right? Like, they get off on it, having one of them narrate it, like, it's a great idea. By the way, again, yeah, we're carpet bombing Tehran, more missiles over Bahrain, whatever. So, White House seems to be signaling that they might back out. Here's Caroline Levitt. This is from this morning. On Saturday, President Trump released a statement laying out clear objectives for the American people for Operation Epic Fury, which are destroy the regime's missiles and raise the missile industry to the ground, which is not complete. Annihilate the Navy, which is close to complete, I believe, but not quite. Ensure proxies can no longer destabilize the region. It's the opposite. It's ensure more just like instability in the region. Stop them from making or using IED or roadside bombs. What are we talking about? In Afghanistan? Like, there is no fucking IEDs on the ground in Iran that have killed thousands of Americans. That's the wrong country. Okay. Guarantee that they can never obtain a nuclear weapon. You basically guaranteed that they will at this point. Yeah, so look, they're listing things that they can say that they did. None of these involve putting in a puppet that is a US puppet. None of these are part of that list. Like none of that list indicates anything that is something that they can't just drop off and be like, mission accomplished, we're going home. Choo Choo Bob, hello all, Minnesota resident here. I'd like to update you all on how it's going here. In light of recent events, it's probably the least people's worries. It shouldn't be. Things have slowed down for the most part this weekend. Was not okay. If you've seen clips, if you haven't seen them, watch them. Yeah, look, I've seen it. It's bad. Granted, it's the sheriffs and not, like, all the info is out yet, but some stores closed and still closed and refused to reopen and for fear of agents who are undercover. And I firmly would be afraid to do that. What happened in Minnesota? The same thing that's been happening. Springfield, Ohio's being ethnically cleansed right now too. I told you guys, I'm not warning you guys anymore. Pay attention. I screamed for months of what was happening, and it's going to continue happening. Solidarity with Minnesota. I will happily talk about it when Minnesotans come and bring it up and give us an update, but I can't keep warning everybody about that kind of stuff, like all of the fashion. Like you notice I haven't talked about ICE recently for a reason, and it's because I've said all I can say on it, and I've shouted myself like hoarse. I'm done. Long story short, sheriffs went on crowd control and it got out of hand. I believe that. They never left LA, Chicago, Memphis, DC, New Orleans, even the fashy cities. Nope, yeah, they're everywhere. They're in New Jersey, they're in New York, like, they're everywhere. Okay, I have one piece of unrelated to the war, depressing news that I might save. So I'm just gonna, yeah, you know what? We're just gonna do some fun stuff for the end of this because we covered war for the whole span of it. I'll save this little bit of depressing news for the next one because it's going to kind of go with other things I have planned. But let's start with this. This is insane. I didn't know that this was a thing. This is the first I'm hearing of it. But apparently in 2015, Laura Loomer was expelled from college for starting an ISIS fan club.
Student suspended? Well, a woman in the middle of a campus controversy says Barry University has booted her from class. NBC6 reporter Jamie Garola live in Miami Shores with the latest on this. Jamie, what's this all about?
Well, yeah, the suspension means that student is not allowed here on campus and is not allowed to go to class. Now, according to an apparent suspension letter, the university says the student created a hostile environment here. An undercover video on this website created a firestorm of negative publicity for Barry University. Project Veritas alleges the school is sympathetic to the terror group ISIS, and they argue a secretly recorded video taken by a student proves it.
This student came to me and had the courage, and we decided to partner with her and work with her.
God, all of these people
are
evil.
It's not limited to Barry.
Senior Laura Loomer partnered with Project Veritas and its president, James O'Keefe. The organization is known for its undercover videos. Project Veritas says it produces them to fight corruption by attempting to expose nonprofits and
so
corporations.
She started a terrorist support group to see if any other terrorists, unlike, aside from herself, would join. At least this means she's been consistent. Yeah, I suppose.
In this case, Barry University.
The individual who signed the documentation to start the ISIS club, I believe, is also her thesis advisor.
In the video, which we're choosing
I forgot about O'Keefe. Yeah, fuck these people.
Not to air, Loomer pretends to want to start a club that supports and aids ISIS. The advisor vaguely said yes and said in general terms the university doesn't try and limit clubs.
Remember back in those days? And it didn't even work? Well, I mean, Laura Loomer tried to do it. Like, you think that she can be, I don't know, competent in anything she does? Or it does? I don't even know. I don't feel comfortable as a woman calling that a woman. Too much plastic surgery on the face has made that more of like a plastic. Like that's just living plastic. I don't think plastic has pronouns. If it asks me to call it a pronoun, I'll consider it. But that shit's an it, yeah. A little bit of good news. Here are some Turkish mine workers who beat the living shit out of authorities in the span of a protest where they are protesting for higher wages and they're getting gassed and shot at. And so they respond like rational humans who are like, hey, I want to be able to eat. And then they get gassed and shot at. They do this. By the way, this is how you earned, your, 9 to 5 and your 5-day work week. Like, that's how all of this happened. Just usually with more blood and more dead protesters. Rather than water, they used to kind of just shoot you. I mean, they used water too, but they'd shoot you a lot more openly back in the day. And my favorite thing that I've seen all day today, I'm going to translate this for you, but this is a sign on a lecture hall in Istanbul University. This says, "We apologize that the room is closed due to a cat giving birth. Please use a different amphitheater." They had to close this lecture hall because a cat gave birth in the class and they didn't want to bother the new mom. That's adorable. I don't know. I needed something, like, happy to look at. And the fact that, like, a stray cat wandered into a university lecture hall, gave birth, and then they're like, you know what? We're just going to close the lecture hall for the day. Just let that cat chill out. I think that's fantastic. I have a bit of unrelated news. It makes me feel old, but Disney's Zootopia will be turning 10 this Wednesday. I did not know that. I mean, I didn't know what year it came out. I'm far older than that. I'm 30, so, you know. It is what it is. So, that's pretty much all I have for coverage on the war today. Now, I have some advice for you guys. Spend the rest of the day, if it's still, like, daylight for you, acquiring food and water, because shipping lanes are not going to be functioning. There is no insurance for tanker vessels. They're not going anywhere. Americans import a lot of food. Buy some now, before the prices go up. Fill your gas tank. Fill, like a spare fucking gas canister. Go and get some, like, water purification tablets if you don't already have them. If, let's say, Iran cyber attacks energy infrastructure and hits the right thing, you might not have power for weeks in some places in the US. It's incredibly vulnerable. Be aware. Like, be prepared in case the lights get cut off. I wouldn't think that they will stay off for that long this time, but it'll depend on what happens. It'll at least be a couple of days before people start panic buying because everyone is focused on oil at the moment. Yeah, exactly. So go do it now before everyone else starts panic buying. So you're all set. Beans, rice, fucking lentils, whatever you got. Like, cheap, long-lasting foods. Because it might be a while. And talk to your neighbors. Stay safe. Join the SRA. Go do anything. Go run for an office. Go organize your community. If you are not already following this space, go and drop a follow on this space being a fantastic coalition of leftist like content creators, streamers, newscasters. I do my weekly show there Thursday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be continuing to do that every week, regardless. And so continue to support that and join my Discord. As I said, I am currently setting up Matrix. It's already set up. We just need the funds for bigger server space. And all of you will be able to join in. Like, we will be able to run Discord better than Discord locally, where I own it. I'm the one who gets subpoenaed for chat records. I have zero obligation to keep chat records hosted in a virtual private server in a country that's not part of an information sharing treaty with any of like NATO or America or the 14 Eyes or any of that. Like, it's the safest you're going to get. And like, we already have that built. That's going to cost in total 55 euros per month. If we can get 55 euros per month, we can have that forever. What channels is in the Matrix stuff? Whatever you want it to be. Whatever you want it to be. You know what? Hold on. I did a little bit of a demo of this on this space on Friday, but I think I could do a little bit of a demo now. I won't go too deep into it just because I want to make a proper video on it, but just so you all understand how powerful this can be. Get to here, and then I don't actually have a web page. I need actually play capture. There we go. So, like waiting room, hobbies, blah, 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 like intentional, like stuff that I've put here. Unlike Discord, mind you, when you join, you're joining into a domain that I own. It's not just like Matrix. I own a domain, and the domain is hosting this server, the channel, rather. And inside of the channel, these are all rooms. Now, first off, when you join like a Discord server, for example, you have to go through and mute all of these rooms one by one. If you join my domain, which you can't do without me giving you a registration key to begin with, and then make an account, which you don't need an email or a phone number for, you join the server, the Matrix server, Visora's Den, but you are not automatically added into every single one of these rooms. You click whether you want to join those rooms. Beyond that, DMs here are peer-to-peer. If you are calling somebody, let's say, for example, if you are calling me in a DM, your IP is directly calling the IP of my server, which can also run a VPN natively, while my IP is directly, like, connecting to the IP of my server, and we're just talking on a local network. This is a LAN party. This is a functional, like, old school way of using the internet. It's not about where to go. It's mostly just elements being the base and then everything else being built on top of it. At the moment, Headless Chicken, if you just message me on Discord, I will get this, like, I'll get you into this so you can check it out, and I'll give you a bit more of a rundown so that you can spread this out further, especially if you're trying to help, like, Cat. Fuck yeah. Is it a React app? No. It's a locally hosted server. You can video chat on here, you can live stream on here, you can live stream to PeerTube on here. This can be the escape from the internet. You can host full old school forums on here. And again, I am in charge of the data, and I don't want to retain shit. In fact, like, part of the plan is once this is put up and it's launched fully, if you want to keep things, have them saved by Fridays at midnight Eastern Standard Time, because I will be clearing every single log, both DM and in the server, that's not a pinned message every week, because the whole point of this is to not have chat records that can be subpoenaed. 60-year-old lady gets totally lost on Discord. That's why I'm going to be making guide videos, Corin. I'm going to be making guide videos specifically for people how to, who don't know how to use tech very well. And so it's going to take me a little while. Going forward after this week, I'm going to be moving to a 1 week on, 1 week off basis for regular stream. As you can see, I've probably kind of already not been streaming a lot lately, because I've had a lot of personal shit going on. But now a lot of requests have been made, and I have stuff to make for you guys. I need to research and build all that stuff. So I'm going to be doing my This Space show every week. This Space, I will be here. Next week, I will only be doing This Space, and I'll be coming back and forth. By the way, you look nice tonight. The muted tone suits you well. Thank you. It's a brand new dress, too. I don't quite like it. I like the red and black plaid. Usually not, but it's an open source protocol and a handful of actually interesting clients exist. That's true. Also, like, specifically, I have it made so you can't use this one on mobile because I kind of wanted secure comms for a reason, and if you're using mobile anything, nothing is secure whatsoever. So, that is how it is. Let's see if we can raid some. Jet, can you do me a favor and check if there's anyone we can raid on YouTube right now while I have a look for someone to raid on Twitch? See who's on. Left of the Box is on? Cool, could you possibly link me? I will do that. Left of the Box is the perfect raid to do. Much appreciated if you can get. Thank you, thank you. Set this up and then we can do our little raids. Left of the Box, by the way, is another This Space affiliated show. Check it out, guys. I mean, it's not even just an affiliated show. I'm pretty sure it's like on This Space. No, it's not on This Space. Left of the Box. It is what it is. Okay. Cool. Affiliated show. Saved that. There we go. And we're going to be raiding Cinemarxism over on Twitch. Oh, speaking of Graphene OS, I have a question to ask you, Anarchist Tech Support. I just hit the raid button, so it's a bit late for that, but I'll message you on Discord. I saw Motorola made a deal with them, so, we shall see. Anyway, I will see you guys next time, and stay safe and have a lovely evening.
Support the war if it means the regime will collapse.